Britain's close ally, the US, has already placed harsh trade restrictions on Huawei. Washington previously suggested that the so-called Five Eyes international intelligence coalition between America, the UK, Canada, Australia and New Zealand will be at risk if Britain gives China a role in its 5G infrastructure. Huawei's been constantly accused of direct links to the Chinese government, something that the company denies. Shadia Edwards-Dashty reports.
Huawei, a massive distributor, forcing its way into the West tech industry and shaking up relations between China, Europe and America when it comes to trade, security and surveillance.
Telecom giant Vodafone found security flaws in Huawei.
British intelligence based in that building behind me has warned of serious risks to UK operators.
Huawei can create a backdoor to China.
For years, it and the Chinese government have been accused of intellectual property theft.
A number of reasons why they say Huawei is not to be trusted.
The UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is trying to strike a balance when it comes to Huawei and its 5G network.
On Huawei and 5G, I don't want this country to be unnecessarily hostile to investment from overseas. On the other hand, we cannot prejudice our vital national security interests.
But a day later, Boris Johnson caused a stir when he visited the set of a British morning television show and snapped selfies with the two hosts using a Huawei phone. The television host said that the phone belonged to Boris Johnson, leading to some to speculate whether the fact the Prime Minister uses a Chinese model represents some sort of security vulnerability. However, Johnson's aides said that the phone was borrowed from staffers and casually put into his very own pocket. But whatever the truth is, Huawei won't mind the extra free publicity at all, and they and other Chinese firms are making quite great strides in Western markets. As for November this year, Huawei has become the third most popular phone in the UK, with almost 10% of the market share. With the UK planning, of course, to leave the European Union, all attention will turn to securing as much investment from countries around the world as possible. So was Boris Johnson's move a big 5G signal?
China obviously is a huge and important market, as well as a supplier of many range of particularly electronic goods, and particularly if Brexit is going to go ahead, then certainly Britain will be seeking to increase trade with China, and the Chinese have made it very clear that if that is going to be the case, then they cannot exclude Huawei. So Britain, in a sense, is caught in a bit of a pincer movement here, in wanting to boost trade with China on the one hand, but a little nervous about this particular concern.